I spent $280 on this Lego lot containing some fantastic Star Wars and superhero minifigures. In this video, we'll find out if this was worth it or a complete waste. Without further ado, let the unboxing begin. First, we have the best Jedi in the Darth Vader,
I have been waiting for this.
who seems to have the wrong leg color. This minifigure only appeared in the General Grievous Starfighter in 2010 and goes for $8. Next, we have this Emperor Palpatine with Darth Vader's legs, who was only released in the 2015 Death Star Final Duel and is worth $9. Next is a Hoth Rebel Trooper missing his backpack and released in 2 sets. This one is worth $4. Moving on is a Super Battle Droid worth $4. Up next is Darth Vader, who has the wrong legs and no cape. His right pair of legs are the ones we've seen on Palpatine. This minifigure only ever appeared in the 2017 Darth Vader transformation and is worth $7 with the wrong legs and no cape. Coming up is an incomplete minifigure with the Imperial Patrol Trooper helmet, the First Order Heavy Assault Stormtrooper, which goes for about $4 and only came out in the 2016 First Order Battle Pack. Next up is the Rebel Trooper with a jetpack, which goes for $6 but has the wrong torso and legs. This minifigure was only released in the 2016 Rebel Alliance Battle Pack. Up next is Poe Dameron, who was exclusively released in the 2020 Poe Dameron's X-Wing Fighter, as well as 2 books. This minifigure goes for a solid $5. Next up is a Rebel Stormtrooper with a clone torso. This one was released in 6 sets and goes for $4. Up next is the First Order Stormtrooper with rounded mouth pattern worth $3. Coming up is a Mandalorian Death Watch Warrior who only appeared in 2 sets and is worth $4. Next up is this First Order Snowtrooper with a backpack, but this one has the wrong neck bracket and is worth $4. Up next is just a battle droid, only worth $2. Next is the OG Phase 2 Clone Gunner, exclusively released in the 2017 Republic Fighter tank and worth $14. We have Dengar, who appears to be missing his backpack. This minifigure was only released in 2 sets and is worth about $4 without his backpack. Next is a Rebel Trooper from the 2016 Rebel Alliance Battle Pack, worth another $4. Up next is Han Solo, exclusively released in the 2016 Carbon Freezing Chamber, and this one goes for a solid $3. Next, we have a Stormtrooper who only appeared in 2 sets and goes for $5. However, this one is in terrible condition, so realistically, it's only worth about $3. Up next is this Snowtrooper that was released in 3 sets and goes for $4. This bag's last Star Wars minifigure is this worthless $2 R2-D2 released in 6 sets. Now let's move on to bag number 2, where we have more Star Wars minifigures and some superheroes minifigs. Let's start with Darth Maul, who seems to have Darth Vader's legs, which are worth the same price as his normal legs. This minifigure was released in 2 sets and goes for $8. Moving on is another Snowtrooper worth $4. Up next is another Mandalorian. This time it's a Tri-Warrior missing his dark brown cape, so this one is only worth about $3. It exclusively came out in the 2020 Mandalorian Battle Pack. Next is a Tusken Raider, released in 5 sets and worth $3. Up next we have a bit of a random Rebel pilot. The head comes from the Cloud Car pilot, and the helmet comes from Snap Wexley. In total, it's worth about $3. Now let's move on to the superheroes. First we have Hulk, which was exclusively released in the Avengers Wrath of Loki in 2020 and is worth $21. Up next is Black Widow, released in 5 sets and worth $4. Next is Nick Fury, exclusively released in the 2019 Stark Jet and the Drone Attack and worth $5. Coming up is another Spider-Man, who was released in 2 sets and goes for $4. Next up is Thor, who appeared in 3 sets and is worth $4. Up next is a Spider-Man from No Way Home, released in 3 sets and worth $5. Next we have Ghost Rider, which only appeared in 2 sets and goes for $6. Next up is another Thor released in 3 sets and worth $4. Next we have another Thor, this time with his helmet, who only ever appeared in the 2021 Thor mech armor and goes for $4. Up next is Doctor Strange, released in 5 sets, and this one has a value of $4. Next up is another variant of Doctor Strange, and this time it was exclusively released in the 2021 Spider-Man at the Sanctum Workshop and goes for $6. Coming up is Iron Man with Mark 85, exclusively released in the 2019 Avengers Compound Battle and worth $8. Up next is Captain Carter from the Marvel Studios Series 1. I had never seen that minifigure before, so I thought at first that it would be worth a lot more due to its printed arms and dual molded legs, but it turns out it's only worth $5. Moving on, we have the Penguin, which was exclusively released in the Batmobile The Penguin Chase and is worth $3. Up next is America Chavez, who only ever appeared in the 2022 Gargantos Showdown and is worth $4. Next up is Black Panther, who's also missing his little cape cloth and therefore goes for $5. This one was exclusively exclusively released in the 2020 Avengers Speeder Bike Attack. Next up is another Black Panther released in 2 sets, and it's worth $4. Up next is Captain America, who only ever appeared in the 2021 Captain America mech armor and goes for $4. Coming up is Robin, released in 2 sets and worth $4. Next up is Wong, exclusively released in the 2021 Spider-Man at the Sanctum Workshop and worth $2 only. Up next is an AIM agent, missing his helmet and only worth $1. This minifigure was released in 4 sets. Next up is Crossbones, who's still worth $4 even though he's missing his breathing apparatus. This one was released in the 2016 Crossbones Hazard Heist. Coming up is Tony Stark, who only ever appeared in the 2020 Iron Man Armory and goes for $3. Next up is Sylvie, who like Captain Carter was exclusively released in the Marvel Studios Series 1 and goes for $3. Up next we have what's probably the most expensive normal size minifigure in this lot, and that is Miss Marvel, who was exclusively released in the Spider-Man Web Quarters Hangout and is worth $15. Up next is another one of those Black Panther minifigures worth $5. Next up is Outrider, which was exclusively released in the Hulkbusters The Battle of Wakanda in 2023. This minifigure is only worth around $1. Next is Mr. Freeze, who only came out in the 2020 Mobile Bat base and is worth $4. Next up is another Spider-Man released in 6 sets and worth $2. Up next is Spidey, who appeared in 3 2022 sets and goes for about $2. Next is Batman, who was only released in 2 sets and is missing his cape. Therefore, it is only worth $3. Up next is another Batman who appeared in 3 sets and is also missing his cape. Therefore, it's worth $4. Next up is Batman with his missing scuba mask and cape. This minifigure was only released in the 2022 Batman with Jet Ski foil pack, and with all of this missing pieces, it goes for $2. We have another Batman missing his cape and only released in the 2019 Batman Mech vs Poison Ivy Mech. This one is worth $3. Let's now move on to the last bag. The first minifigure is Thanos with his Gauntlet of Power, which was only released in the 2019 Avengers Compound Battle and is now worth $20.
I smell profit. Nice, juicy, fat, warm profits.
Up next is Hobgoblin, exclusively released in the 2016 Spider-Man Ghost Rider Team Up and worth $12. Moving on, we have Iron Man with Mark V armor, exclusively released in the 2019 Iron Man Hall of Armor and worth $6. Next up is this Superman released in 2 sets and worth $3. Up next is Iron Man with his Mark I armor, which only came out in the 2019 Iron Man Hall of Armor and is worth $7. Coming up is the Spider-Man worth $2. This one has quite a bit of damage, unfortunately. Next we have Lex Luthor in his battle armor, which was exclusively released in the 2016 Batman and Superman vs Lex Luthor and is worth $4. Next we have a Chitauri foot soldier who only appeared in 2 sets and goes for $2. Next we have the Watcher, exclusively released in Tony Stark's Sicarian Iron Man in 2021 and worth $7. Coming up is Feora, which was exclusively released in the 2013 Superman Battle of Smallville and is worth $8. Next we have the Venom Green Goblin, who only ever appeared in the 2024 Spider-Man race car and Venom Green Goblin. This one is somehow still worth a solid $11, even though it's still retailing. Next is Power Man, released uniquely in the 2014 Spider Helicopter Rescue and worth $6. Next we have Iron Man with his Mark 42 armor, exclusively released in the 2013 Iron Man Extremis Seaport Battle and worth $8. He's got a big scratch on his eye. Next up is another Outrider worth around $1. Coming up is a severely damaged Venom, exclusively released in the 2014 Spider-Man Spider-Car Pursuit. Next up is Vulture, exclusive to the 2021 Spider-Man's Drone Duel and worth $6. Next is Mr. Freeze, who seems to have a yellow visor instead of a blue one. This minifigure only ever appeared in the 2013 Arctic Batman vs Mr. Freeze Aquaman on Ice and goes for $4. Moving on, another AIM agent is also missing his helmet. This time it has the wrong leg color as well. This minifigure goes for $1 only. Next up is Bane, who has short legs and only ever appeared in the 2016 Mighty Micros Robin vs. Bane. This tiny little minifigure goes for $2. Finally, we have another Batman. This one was only released in 2 2012 sets and is worth $4. So this is the total value of this slot minus what we spent, so this is the total profit. That's it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, and share the channel with your friends. Here's another LEGO unboxing video that you can watch. I'll catch you in the next one.